I'm Dr. Mark Sue, and welcome to the Functional Medicine Reality Podcast. Join me and our community weekly as we bring you unfiltered health from inflammation to longevity. Real stories, real people, real solutions. Experience real-life health changes from both patients and practitioners, and learn how to turn cutting-edge information into real results in your own life so you can feel better, live longer, live healthier, and be confident and clear in your healthcare choices. Let's get real and get results. Hey friends, this is the Functional Medicine Reality Podcast. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Mark Sue. This is Mary Jo Anderson, and we are continuing on in our discussions about Mary Jo's life experience, her health experience, dealing with, in particular focus, chronic Lyme disease. So, good morning again.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
We're ready to move on.
Yes, we are.
So we've talked through the first chapter of the struggles, the symptoms before being, as you word it, properly diagnosed. And then we talked through the chapter of your actual treatment journey. And so here we are today, and we're talking about what's real, what's the here and now. Is it all peaches and roses and life is just super awesome and I'm walking on water? Or, yeah, actually, I'm really, really relapsed, or something in between. How are you feeling these days? Or last 6 months, whatever. How are you doing these days?
Well, thank you for asking. I am doing good. And that question is definitely leveled, a little complex. But current day, I am feeling good. Right now, I'm feeling good. And it's funny, the people that know what I've been walking through the last 7 years have been asking me more of recently, how are you doing? How are you feeling? You know, checking up on me a little bit more. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but 6 months ago, I had a full hysterectomy. So that was a second level of complexity to my health journey.
And do you relate that to what happened before, or independent topic?
Totally independent topic. I feel like the hysterectomy was a completely separate issue than what I've been dealing with the last 7 years with the chronic Lyme. But 6 months out post-op, obviously a second issue, but I am feeling good present day. And when friends and family and people that do know what I've been going through all these years ask me, how am I doing? You know, specifically about like post-op.
Yeah.
I say in it that I'm feeling good, and that is the truth, but I say it with a lot of hesitancy, just because I haven't felt good for so long. The second issue on top of the other complex Lyme issue that I've been having for so long, I haven't been feeling good for so long.
Yeah.
So to say current day that I'm feeling good, I get nervous when I say it. It's scary to say it. There's a lot of emotion that's tied to it because I've gone up and down for so long. I've been ill for a long time. I've been fighting for a long time. There's trauma that's mental trauma on top of what I've gone through. So to say that I'm feeling good, I get nervous, you know, and
it's understandable.
Just as of recently, I had a conversation with someone that says, you know, you got to keep leaning into saying it with confidence and keep leaning into like feeling good. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. I'm trying to get stronger, more confident, and say that I'm feeling good. And then I'm trying to find or seek modalities that support where I am right now, which is feeling good.
Yeah.
Not strong. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling clearer in my mind, you know, brain fog. A lot of my symptoms have subsided. I have a few symptoms that kind of like linger. I know it is little inflammation, little Lyme, residue of Lyme. I don't know if you'd agree with this, but when I do have the Lyme conversation, I do, just in my personal experience, I do kind of share that, you know, I was undiagnosed with Lyme for almost 4 years. And so to eradicate Lyme would be very difficult. And that's what I've been trying to do for the last 3 years through all these different modalities. And so now, you know, 7, 8 years out from fighting this battle, I do say it with hesitancy that I don't think that I've eradicated Lyme.
Yeah.
I think I actually still have residual Lyme in me. And now I just keep it kind of the disease at bay with the different modalities that I use, you know, whether it's diet or exercise or supplements and all these different things that kind of keep that disease really, I don't know the right terminology if I'm using or explaining it right, but like keep it kind of at bay.
Yeah.
And so, I'm feeling good. I'm leaning into feeling good. And, but there's definitely a huge emotional piece to feeling good. Even I've shared this in the last couple podcasts that we've done, but even speaking out loud that I'm feeling good and, you know, that I'm on the path of healing and this third chapter of this health crisis that I've been in, that's a part of feeling good too, is just speaking these things out loud. It's part of like my healing journey. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
Self-affirmation.
Yes.
Reminders.
Yes.
I actually was thinking about you last night because we were doing a group visit with RootSeek, and the monthly group visits are usually centered around a topic, and it was on Lyme disease. So your comments there are very resonant. I'm just letting you know the questions or the comments you're making there were totally resonated by multiple people in that group visit, talking about, is it ever gone? And what does it look like, if I symptomatically feel like it's gone, but still see it on paper, what does that mean? Or vice versa. We won't get into those technicals, but just letting you know, you already know this, but it's a really common question or uncertainty. Go back to, for a second here, on, you had the hysterectomy, right? Did that, being that you see that as disconnected, it's not a cause-effect relationship with the Lyme disease, your Lyme disease journey and story. How did that feel for you? Did it feel strange? How did that feel for you?
Scary, very scary to know that 2 years ago I discovered that I was having like a prolapse, and that there was a mass that was right on my uterus, and a lot of complications in the woman areas down below, and discovering this separate issue, knowing that I'd been fighting Lyme disease and having this chronic illness for so many years before this separate issue came up. It was so disheartening to me that I had like another road in front of me. That was something pretty intense. It was something I wasn't actually even familiar with either. At how old am I? I am 44, but at 42, when I discovered all of this, and through an ultrasound and some appointments with my OBGYN, it was discovering this separate issue and knowing that I had to have surgery, and then discovering that I had a little bit of a blood disorder. Is that all tied to Lyme? I didn't know, but I knew that this was a second bumpy, scary road that was in front of me. And I think women, for the most part, in just my experience, like talking about a hysterectomy, I've come to realize that it's like 1 in every 3 women will have one in their lives. At 42 years old, I was facing, having to have this massive surgery that was very complex because I had underlying health issues. It was scary. I was like, oh crap. I was disheartened. I was discouraged, but I was also like, gosh, I've been suffering for a really long time, and this is just something else I have to battle and walk through. And so I kind of just put the boots on and walked towards it. The surgery was delayed a couple times. I had complications during the surgery and a few weeks after the surgery. So it was also very difficult, but I did it. I'm on the other side of it. I'm 6 months out post-op. Again, I'm feeling good. It's just another thing in my story, my complex health journey. And I hope by speaking it, I can help somebody else. I truly do. There's been a lot of suffering over the last 7 years, and this was another chapter of my suffering. And I'm smiling and standing and walking around without my uterus falling out of me and all these things. So, I can't say that I'm fully on the other side of all these things. I think as we age, there's so many health things that can come up. And when we've had just on the surface conversations about hormones and all that, that's another huge box that I'm learning about and seeking information about, because my body definitely is post hysterectomy changing even more so than I ever imagined. So just a predominant conversation in my life, and just even speaking these things out loud has been it's been healing for me.
Yeah. Well, you say that it was different, and it was just like another hit, another thing you have to go through with your health journey. Was there ever a time that hey, there's a little bit of a breath of fresh air that this isn't Lyme related?
No, because it felt really hard.
Okay.
This also felt really hard. The Lyme journey and the suffering that I went through, or still am going through to some degree, was so hard. And the hysterectomy was I don't know, equally as hard, but it was really hard too emotionally. If you know of any women that have had a hysterectomy, there's a lot of emotion tied to that. We talk about the woman's wound and all these things, and I have 3 beautiful children that I'm very blessed to have, but something post-op after I had the hysterectomy was an emotional journey too, and still is.
I imagine like an identity piece.
Yeah, huge identity piece. Yeah, something's missing. Something's very different.
Well, literally and figuratively.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And when I do speak about the hysterectomy to anybody that has had it, because once I had start saying it a little bit out loud, you can't imagine, or maybe you can imagine how many women.
Yeah.
I didn't know a single person that had had a hysterectomy.
Yeah.
Because I had never had one, so I never talked about it.
Well, yeah.
But I had never really known anybody that had had that. My mom and my sisters hadn't had one. But the moment I said it out loud, I shared it on my online community that I was going through this to some degree. I shared on the surface what I was going through. It was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women that had gone through it too, that were wanting to share with me their experience in order for it to maybe help or guide me through my own. So then, now I'm on the other side of it. And it's like, gosh, I would love to be that for somebody else too. And when all's said and done, there's such beauty when women share stuff like this, because I think we do all walk these paths, and they're very lonely because they're private stories, personal stories. So I can understand why, but there's such beauty in when you do share it, how many people you could potentially help.
Yeah.
So, or feel less alone.
So it sounds like your big, the struggle you had confronting this issue, really, it was just another thing. It's another thing. And it's different in some ways. Thankfully, it's not like a Lyme related regression or something else or complication of such, but geez, I'd love a break.
Yeah. I think I don't know if I shared this in the last time we chatted, but one of the words that I've come to, and not that I'm full circle yet, but I feel like I'm getting there because I can talk about it articulately to some degree, what I've experienced, what I've gone through, but like I'm resilient.
Yeah.
And I've always known that I'm a little strong, I guess, fearless in ways, but now I know I'm so resilient. So maybe walking into this second thing, I felt like, oh gosh, I can do this. I can do this. This is really hard, but I can do this. I'm going to do this. I have no choice. So just on the back end of it, I'm finding that I'm extremely resilient. I'm attaching myself to that word. There's nothing that I can't do. That's how bad the suffering was.
Yeah.
That's how much I made it through a lot of things, a lot of dark days, a lot of dark thoughts. Those things come with suffering of any sort.
Yeah.
And so now I'm on the other end, and I feel like not fully full circle other end, but I know I'm resilient, and no matter what life throws me, I can do hard things. I can.
Yeah. We got to.
I hope I get a break, though.
Celebrate that. Yeah.
I hope I get a break for the next few years or something.
Well, so let's go to like what are the symptoms you're experiencing these days when you say, I'm not quite full circle, so I'm not normal per se, but hey, look, right before we hit the record button, right? We were talking about you just went on this major hike, 4,000 plus foot mountain.
Yes.
I think you said it was like 4 hours in, 4 hours out.
Yes.
And so, I mean, where does that land for you in terms of, hey, is that a reflection of like, hey, you're so awesome right now that you can do 4 hours in, 4 hours out on a 4,000 foot mountain? Or was that like really tough? Is that pushing the limits for you? Where are you at?
We can thank our dear friend Bridget for that. Shout out to Bridget Hunt. No, so yes, I did. I just did a 4,000 footer, is what they call it. I'm coming to terms with what that means. My mind for a while in the last couple of years, I've been wanting to do things like hiking. My body's not obviously prepared for a large hike like I just experienced this past weekend, but my mind so badly wanted to do something like this. I should have maybe started off a little bit smaller, but I signed up for a hike with our dear friend Bridget, completed a 4,000 footer, which was a massive feat.
Yeah.
I think halfway up, I did stop to think like, what did I get myself into? Can I do this? My body, I haven't really prepared for such a feat like this, but my mind so badly wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So I did do it. I did complete it. It was very, very difficult. I think when you do hikes like that or anything that's intense physically, I think you have to prepare just like anything else. And I didn't completely prepare for this.
Again, so you've been a collegiate basketball player.
Yep.
You were teaching 15 plus fitness classes in a week at one point, a number of years ago. And so, how does this compare to like what you could? Is this something you could have done like just on the drop of a hat, say like 10 years ago?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's a comparison, right? 10 years ago, don't think you would have thought twice about it and come down from that and been like, okay, it was a thing, but I'm good. So what was your experience?
Halfway up, it was very hard. At the top, I took a deep breath. I think I shared with you that I got very emotional.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do things like this for a long time, being very ill for 7+ years. I I always would describe it in conversation. I can articulate. There was many days in the last 7 years I couldn't even put my feet on the ground. My mind would want to do it in some aspects, but my body was very sick. And previous to getting sick, I was very active. Played basketball in college, taught a lot of fitness classes. And so signing up for something like this was like, I want to do something like this so bad. I'm not prepared. I did do it. I'm exhausted. A few days out from the hike, I'm exhausted. My body, I think, is saying, what the hell did you just do? But I'm really glad that I did it. It taught me a lot about where I need to go. Yeah. And it's maybe not back to a 4,000 footer, but it is that my body does want to move again. Yeah. Wants to move. Maybe at a slower pace, maybe at a 1,000 footer or 2,000 footer. Yeah. But that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start moving my body. I'm going to start incorporating activity back into my life on a daily or weekly basis. It's not something I've had for a really long time. It's something I missed. Yeah. I know it's really helpful with the mental component of life. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to being active to some degree again.
I mean, I'm imagining you're at the top of this mountain.
Yeah.
You got to be feeling pretty victorious. You've conquered something. I mean, it's a sort of physical representation of a journey, no doubt, right?
Oh gosh,
that must have been awesome.
Makes me very emotional to think about that.
That must have been awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if it was awesome once I got to the top.
Okay, you were still hurt. You were hurt. Okay,
I think I looked at Bridget like, what did you get me into? But as I got,
say, hey, you're the one who signed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wasn't pulling teeth there.
Exactly. I think when I got to the bottom and that night and the next day and even today, even just hearing you reflect on it, I can't believe that I got up there, but I did. It was with my will. Yeah. And the women that surrounded me and led me up that hill. Yeah. It definitely feels like just sitting here now, like such a full circle moment for me.
Because, we've seen pictures of people at the top of, gorgeous views, mountains, whatever, with, arms, yes, did it, or whatever the case may be. This is awesome. And what's a different story when you're doing that in the context of I just went through 7 years of hell and a hysterectomy too, identity, adjustment, etc. And it's just, that's a different story. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure, I don't know, maybe one or two of the women with you may have had some insight into that background context for you, but that's a very precious and meanable personal moment for you. So I can understand if you were a little physically distracted. Okay, so I'll let you kind of just reflect on that, but it's just my way. I'm just honoring you and celebrating that with you, after the fact.
I appreciate
in
that.
In the coming
so
days,
much.
you can.
Bridget actually said to me the next morning, not in the same exact words, but are very reflective, in acknowledgement of what I've been through and what I had just accomplished. And so she was affirming just in the same way that you were, with such love, you should be really proud of yourself that you did that. And I was, and I am. I just know that my body has gone through so much. Yeah. And as much as I wanted to do a 4,000 footer, I think I need to really take a few steps back current day and do the things that support my body and not stress it out so much. But it's great.
But the fact that you were able to do it.
Yes.
And yeah, you might be a little achy or tired right now. What, 2 days out, 3 days out, right? But you did it, right? Because I can tell you, and my colleagues can tell you, the number of patients who, it's not judgy, it's just reality, where they identify with that experience. I mean, you were just 7 years, right? Even if we said 3 or 4 years, I mean, it's not difficult to begin identifying with what we are perceiving as our new norm, right? And then even when you're better, it's not that hard to stay stuck in that back room of self-identification, right? So to be able to step forward and take those, and challenge yourself, it's not as simple as some people might think, right? Readjusting your identity and reclaiming on some level, whether reclaiming, you don't have to be a collegiate basketball player in the past, okay, but reclaiming your identity and your God-given design to be healthy and vibrant. It's not easy when you've gone through some things to reflect on for the coming days. So what, what you described there with the sort of fatigue post, I mean, granted, this, I guess, thinking 8-hour hike, okay, up 4,000 feet. That's a lot. But there are people who do wrestle with this, we call it push crash.
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, when people are in the thick of things, as you described, sometimes I can't even get out of bed like the whole day. And we see plenty of people who, yeah, Mark, if I have to go to the grocery store, I kind of know I can't do anything the rest of the day. Push crash. It's just their push is very minimal and their crash is meaningful. Are you wrestling with that kind of stuff on a regular week-to-week basis aside from this big hike, or what other kind of, is it fatigue, or what other kind of symptoms are you actually dealing with on a kind of recurring basis that are not yet normal for Mary Jo?
I think the my realization over the last couple of years that I have been feeling better is the energy that my output of energy, right? And where that goes to, whether it's social, small little physical things, like it's a complete management of that.
So you're still budgeting your energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And whereas like, at anywhere from 28 years old to 38 years old, it was like energy was just pouring out of me constantly, socially, physically, teaching fitness classes and doing a lot of physical activity, triathlons. There's a lot of things that I did over those 10 years. Had 3 children. There was so much energy that was being poured out of me. I even reflect on that being the downside or the downfall of my health crisis. Was that a contributing factor to why I fell so ill so quickly after little Bryce was born? Little Bryce is 9 years old. And so I always go back to that point. After he was born, within a year, I started feeling ill. Right. And so I always say 7 or 8 years. That's when I started acknowledging and pursuing answers and having doctor visits nonstop.
Yeah.
But 9 years ago, when he was born, or a year after, is when I started acknowledging that there were symptoms, things that were unreal. And that was at the point where I was expending so much energy through the kids, through my marriage, through fitness classes, through social, gatherings, creating things online, my online community. Because I was just so much export of energy.
Yeah. So it's a big change.
Yeah, it's huge change, falling ill over years. And then now the complete management of that. Yeah, what can I do today?
Yeah.
This podcast might be the only one thing I can do today. The hike 3 days ago was, I'm just regaining the energy. I've gotten good sleep over the last 3 nights. And so
that really puts in perspective.
Yeah.
When you're saying I have to budget my energy in a week, which, I mean, what percentage or what absolute number of people in your life do you think recognize that about you?
Oh gosh, I think a lot of people do now.
Okay.
Because where I used to be a yes person and do almost everything, I just have pulled back in almost every avenue of my life. I've had to.
I mean, do you think, people who've known you for a number of years, where they've presumably seen or know on some level that you've gone through a lot of struggles and you're better now, do you think they perceive you as like, oh, the old Mary Jo's back?
Yeah.
Or were they like, we can see you're kind of back, but we still respect and are aware of and respect that you have to like budget your energy and say no more often or whatever. Where do you think other people are perceiving you?
Well, I don't know if I've shared this with you before, but this health crisis that I've gone through, I've been very personal and tight-lipped with it. Right. So not very many people knew what I was going through. And over the last few years, I've really kind of been sharing a little bit more.
Yeah. And
so on the exterior, it might look like I'm doing it all, but I'm really not. I'm doing very, very little over the last few years. And now I'm doing a little bit more. But yeah, the people that do know and the more that I do share of what I've gone through, I think people have seen or perceived that there is a massive change.
Yeah.
Has
that been okay for you?
Yeah.
Has it been like created any conflicts? Or?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part of the last 7 years, I think, I don't know if we shared this, but in the suffering that I've gone through, a lot of my friendships, a lot of things in my life have had to, really fall by the wayside. There wasn't any energy or anything to really give.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so a lot of friendships and things in my world have shifted. And the people that really understood that, or I let in on what was going on, understand it and have empathy, compassion for me, and on the, in the full picture and the full circle of current day, like all those people that really truly understand, love me are still there.
Yeah.
And all the other people, I've always kind of not cared so much about what people think about me. But, a lot of people don't really actually know the levels of what's been going on with me. So it's not anything that I waste too much time on.
So it's a personal management.
Yep.
Okay. And so besides fatigue, is there anything else going on? Because I mean, from us from the practitioner side of things, I'm not alone in observations that fatigue and brain fog are commonly like the last bastions to finally resolve. So besides fatigue, is there anything else happening for you?
This is a new word that I'd love for you to guide me through it a little bit if I get off track with it. But inflammation, it's a new word that I've learned as I've been feeling better is a component to my complex health. Inflammation. Okay. It's a word that I've kind of, for the most part, I feel like I've become familiar with, but I never know if I'm using it quite correctly or if the symptom that I'm feeling is tied to inflammation.
Sure.
So anyways, I've shared in the past that diet is a huge thing for me. And when I have my diet under control, where I'm eating whole foods and have carbs and sugars at a real time low, or eating natural sugars or sweeteners or anything like that, I feel really, really great. And like during the summer and every once in a while when I kind of go off track with that diet, inflammation is something that I think feeds the disease that's within me. And I just start feeling unwell. My skin starts breaking out a lot. I start having headaches and not so much the neurological stuff that I had going on prior, but I feel like the inflammation component and the diet that goes with it is just hand in hand. And so when I'm eating well, my inflammation's down, I'm feeling great. And then when I'm not eating well, my inflammation's up and I'm not feeling great. You know, tired, a little bit of brain fog, a little bit of achy knees, you know, like I kind of can feel it in my joints a little bit. Is that Lyme? Is that inflammation? Is that both of them at once?
But the neurologic, like neuropathy matters, you said, those are pretty quiet these days.
Yep. Neuropathy was one of my main symptoms.
Right.
And those tend to, that symptom is subsided.
Oh, good.
It's there on and off a little bit, but not nearly as much. It was on a daily thing. And it was my number one symptom was the neuropathy, which was in my hands and in my feet and in my legs. So anyways, inflammation is something that, you know, I think it goes hand in hand with my diet. Sure. And when I'm not eating really well, I'm not feeling great. And that's kind of like the biggest thing over the last 2 years.
Sure.
Is
I think so to tie a couple things together, you know, people use that word inflamed. I feel inflamed all the time. And I regularly will ask people, whether for documentation or for their self-awareness clarification, what do you mean by inflamed, right? So for me, sure, we could use that term, but it doesn't necessarily have like definition unless you talk about what symptoms you're talking about, right? Some people say inflammation, and most people are talking about fatigue is part of it, okay? But you list headaches, some achiness, and maybe something else, but not neuropathy. So that's nice. That's good. So that's more for your, you know, these are things that everyone can, who've gone through your, whether they're still treating or they're kind of on the back end. It's these are things that you're gauging, right? And the food part is, you know, as you've already you talked about, I think in the last session, like during your treatment phase, foods definitely have there are a lot of foods that have pro-inflammatory consequences, right? It's just a matter of how much do they really lead to noticeable symptoms for people, and then how much are we paying attention to whether we notice symptoms. So you've had to become aware of your symptoms. So, you know, good for you. So you're still wrestling through some of these symptoms. So, and you've kind of alluded to this, but let's kind of pivot to, okay, so yeah, I think one of the questions I was thinking about was, what are you doing these days to manage or fight back when you have some symptom regressions? And so you've already alluded to one of them is, all right, I know food is a factor, right? Anything else besides the nutrition dietary part that you?
I do, you know, between the nutrition, that's the number one thing for me. When I have my nutrition and I'm eating well and I'm cooking at home and eating whole foods, I do feel great. I'm trying to play a little pickleball and be a little bit more active than I've been. You know, this hike was a big thing for me, but just being active and moving my body for the first time as much as I can or as my body allows.
Sure.
That's a component to feeling well, mentally, physically, all the things. And right now I'm at the stage where, you know, you and I have had conversations like this. You know, I take supplements here and there, but I'm exploring all the avenues. I don't even know, I couldn't even pinpoint what those avenues are, but I do feel a little broken, wide open right now that I've gone through a lot. I've been treated. I've used medication. I've used diet. I've used supplements to feel well, to feel better.
Specifically geared towards Lyme disease.
Towards Lyme disease.
Or something directly related to Lyme disease.
Exactly. Yeah. And now in my third chapter of wellness, getting well, feeling better, you know, what are the things that are going to support me getting actually better, right? Like, and not feel like I'm fighting a little tide, no matter how big the tide is. Like, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Not having to budget your energy.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's how I'm feeling right now. Like, what are those things? And exploring those things. What are they?
So you're kind of in a exploratory mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's the dietary piece, but aside from that, there isn't necessarily a meaningful regimen. You have a couple go-tos of whatever supplements. I mean, can I ask, like, so what are those by, category?
I take my vitamin D, my B12, I take my iron, I do saunas once in a while. I just for the first time did my first cold dip. There's all these different modalities that cold plunge.
Okay, part of the mountain hike or no?
It was as I got back from the mountain hike, my body screamed,
I was gonna say,
go jump in the ocean.
I'm assuming you guys, oh, that's right. You did mention, I was gonna say, I'm assuming you did not get in the water in the middle of your hike and then have to hike down.
I would have. We thought about it.
That many hours?
We thought about it. There was a beautiful waterfall. There was something saying that a few of us did want to jump in, but the thought of hiking 2 more hours
that's what I'm thinking.
Was a no. At the moment I got home, my body did say cold water. I've never done it before.
Yeah.
But it wanted a cleansing of sorts, maybe whatever it was. But I did do a cold plunge, so I'm gonna maybe explore that a little bit more. But there's different modalities that, like, I feel like are at my fingertips that I'm just gonna try to lean into in this next chapter. What can I do to feel when you say, how are you feeling? I say, I feel good. I want to lean into feeling great.
Yeah.
I'm 44 years old. I want to lean into feeling great.
Good to great.
I want to say it. I want to feel it. And what are those things that are going to make me feel great?
Sure.
And then share this part of the journey a little bit more with my community, my in-person community, my family, my friends, people in the greater Newburyport area where we live. And then in my online community, that it is thousands of incredible women.
Yeah.
That maybe are looking, listening, and seeking those things too. Like, that's where I'm at current day.
Yeah. That's good.
Which is an exciting place to be.
It is. It's way better than where you've been.
Yes.
Are there certain kind of interventions, treatments, directions that you're more interested in exploring based on hearsay or something you've come across, been exposed to, been recommended more than others? If not, it's no big deal.
I feel like there is, but I can't pinpoint specifically.
Okay.
Because there's a lot. I think you and I have chatted about this before. There is so much information out there.
Yeah.
So much. Overwhelming.
Yes.
Everybody's an expert. Everybody's selling a supplement. There's a lot of information out there, especially when, what I would be considered an influencer. When I look at people are in the wheelhouse of influencing, everybody's sharing that this works for them, or take this supplement, or this, there's just a million things. And so it can be very overwhelming.
Absolutely. Just
for somebody that's gone through a lot, that somebody is seeking, what those things are, what things might work for me. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad I have a friend like you that can maybe guide me and share with me what might be helpful.
Yeah. And those are not easy for the person who's a little more analytical or data-based. If a person's a data junkie and that whatnot, then it's a little bit of a hard space to be in, because we don't have more solid data, much less standardization, because a lot of this stuff is not well research based, because no one's got the money to put into this, right? So that's partly why I ask you what resonates with you, or what have you come across that you have interest in exploring or have heard other people, because for better or for worse, a lot of this is like what it goes back to the mindset in part, right? If you have conviction, or you believe you're going to get better with this, and you already believe you're not going to with that, I might educate you a little bit about the latter if I really have conviction about it, but I'm not, if I don't have enough reason and rationale and analysis basis to say that, I'm not going to push you to something that you don't already have a momentum toward, because your mental health piece of that, your attitude, is a huge part of the journey, as you've already alluded to. So
we've shared this too. I'm discerning with so many things. I use the word discernment because it's something that I've heard in the Bible, and it's something that just resonates with me. Not judgmental of anything. I've gone through a lot. I've been guided on wrong paths through medicine and my primary care, and different situations I've been in with my health. That it's not. I hate to use the word distrusting, but like I don't trust a lot of things, and I'm discerning about things.
Yeah.
And so in this next chapter, I'm definitely in an exploratory phase, but I'm very discerning, where it's like I'm not jumping on this, that, and the other thing because this is what worked for this person.
Yeah.
I think our health journeys are very personal.
Yeah.
I do think what works for someone else can work for someone else. Absolutely. That's something that I always go back to. there's a young girl in town that at some point I'd love for her to be part of this conversation, because her journey with Lyme was the roadmap from my journey with Lyme to healing.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's a lot of things that can help other people that some people try and use, but it's not always that way.
Yeah, and it's not just to qualify it, it's not to say it's all wishy-washy either. There are, let's just say that there are some routes that have stood the test of time from practitioner or patient experiences, and there's others that they need to kind of prove themselves, and that's okay. But you're right, a lot of our decision making with these journeys is very personal too, because if it's not better standardized and understood, then we're talking about what is the risk in time, effort, or cost. So but nonetheless, yeah, look, in the end, most to all these therapies are geared towards reducing inflammation. It's a matter of how much can we pinpoint it to the specific cause or causes of inflammation, and also how effective are they really in the end. So with that being said, one other piece here, because a lot of these, so my mind, I won't let ourselves go down that rabbit hole, but a lot of this goes into when you talk about inflammation, right? I think another time we will go into this rabbit hole more deeply, but inflammation is a really broad term, and research. Jessica does all this, research on a lot of chronic health diseases, but also anti-aging longevity now, and inflammation is at the heart of it all of it, right? So you might be right now on that third chapter of this part of, okay, diagnosis, treatment, much, much better. I'm sort of doing management, cleanup, getting better, continuing to get better, just not in a sense of crisis and urgency because I'm not in bed 24/7. Another person might have never gone through your journey, but they're asking the questions about what's out there all over the place about anti-aging, longevity, et cetera. We could easily still talk the same language about anti-inflammation, right? And so a lot of the tools, therefore, towards anti-inflammation might be similar, like nutritional dietary measures, right? You might be saying, I'm trying to still feel better from symptoms, and someone else might be saying, I'm trying to optimize wellness. But it's the same end action step, right? And we could talk about supplements, we can talk about procedures and, cold plunging, hyperbaric. I mean, there's a lot of options, right? Which we'll go to another time. So compartmentalizing that aside, just kind of briefly hinting at that you do have a lot of options, okay? And you might be gearing towards feeling better and simultaneously pursuing vibrancy, whereas someone else might be just wanting to pursue vibrancy, period. And someone else might be, okay, wait, I'm still stuck in that treatment journey where I just got diagnosed. I'm still in the thick of it with 5-alarm fire, and I'm in a dark journey, right? And I'm still in the dark place. They also have options for those exact same therapies for you and for the person who's just trying to only optimize wellness. It's a matter of how effective it's going to be for each of you in these different, profiles of health. So that's just a quick response to a couple things you mentioned there. So pivoting back to yourself here, have you ever come across, and maybe this might be a quick no, have you ever come across the possibility that, we've talked about different therapies and steps you can take to treat Lyme and, okay, as a focal diagnosis, but have you ever been introduced to the possibility that there might be other conditions simultaneous to Lyme contributing to your symptoms? And if so, what kind of topics have you?
The only information I have that could coincide with my Lyme battle is some of the co-infections, right? That were diagnosed at the same time that I was finally diagnosed with Lyme. That was that there was other co-infections going on.
Okay.
And so I haven't dug deep into, if those still linger too, right? So that's just part of the complex story that I'm a little bit sharing. The hysterectomy part of it, and now I'm leaning into, are any of these symptoms or anything that I might, not trying to look too far in the future about how I'll feel, right? But like hormonal imbalance, right? That's something that it goes hand in hand with a hysterectomy. If you have a hysterectomy, most likely, if you weren't already going through premenopause, you're going to be going through it shortly after a surgery like that. Yeah. So it's like when I think about the whole health and what I'm going into in the next stage of my life, I think that conversation is a huge one that I need to explore.
Okay.
And what that looks like, and how to support it, or if there's imbalances that I need to supplement, whatever it is. It's just a big conversation.
Sure.
So I think that that's part of where I'm at current day too.
Sure.
So again, it's just kind of maybe just exploring.
Yeah.
If there's co-infections that still exist, and then a lot of hormonal stuff,
Yeah.
because I think that's the bigger picture and the bigger conversation of feeling great, right? Like leaning into feeling great.
So we'll save this for another time, or maybe we never even get to it, but yeah, there's more for you personally here, right? But see, I will suggest to you that you're actually very, very fortunate that you've gotten this far, even though it's been a lot of years and you've gone through a lot. You're also very, very fortunate that you've been able to get this far addressing one focal topic. And that's kind of daunting to say, because the back end, the compare contrast is, there's a lot of people who have to go through a similar journey. It doesn't always have to be this intense, but they have to go through a similar journey with a second or third topic in addition to Lyme in order to really get better. So that's why I asked that, because a lot of times those are, when we talk about anti-inflammation or treating inflammation, right? There's some things you can do, like food, that is kind of all comers. It's going to reduce inflammation kind of regardless, right? For various reasons. For some other people where food changes don't help them, there's a different target we got to look at. But I was just kind of just fishing to see if there are other targets that you and I've never talked about, that you've heard about and you've wondered about, that might open doors for our either personal conversation or, subsequent sessions. But we'll compartmentalize that one too today, okay? So last question then.
Yes.
Any counsel or words of advice or reflections, I'm going to leave it to counsel, advice, that Mary Jo from 4 years ago would say to Mary Jo now, or thinking forward, any kind of words of advice or counsel that Mary Jo from 5 years from now would look back on and say to Mary Jo now?
Oh gosh, that's a loaded question. I'm not sure how to answer or target exactly how I'm feeling about that. But
yeah, it's a little too heavy.
It is heavy, but it's okay. I like the heavy stuff. You know that. I think vulnerability is one of the things that we've chatted about before. I don't know if this is going to answer your question, but I've always been broken, wide open, and vulnerable. And one of the things that I can say to myself 5 years ago or current day is like, stay vulnerable, stay open, stay brokenhearted, wide open. It's something that I would say to anybody that's on the journey, is to keep going.
Yeah.
Whether they're at the beginning, the middle, or the end, like keep going, one foot in front of the other. That's what this hike taught me just 3 days ago. It is one foot in front of the other. It's keep going. It's such a personal journey. You will get through it. Prayer is one of the things that worked for me. My faith is so important to me. It is the one thing that I go back to. I have friends, I have family, I have a husband, I have a community of people that I'm so eternally grateful for. It's what pulled me through all of it. But my faith in God never leaving my side is something I have felt this entire way through. And so I like to always talk about that and give all the glory to God, because He has carried me through when I haven't been able to walk.
Yeah.
And so my faith has always been strong, but it's stronger than it's ever been. And that's just so affirming to me now. It's such a reflection of what I've been through. My family, my friends, the community of women that I have. I'm just so thankful for all of it. I have not walked this path for no reason.
Yeah.
I haven't. I don't question it.
True.
I don't resent it. There's forgiveness across the board through the medical, the medical people that I've dealt with for many years, not your practice specifically, but I felt failed through a lot of it. I felt alone through a lot of it. I don't have, I need to stay vulnerable. I need to stay open. I need to stay forgiving. And I need to just keep going one step at a time. It's just a deep reflection that I have for what I've gone through. And I have to stay in the right now, which I'm always pretty good at that.
Yeah.
And that's speaking this out loud in hopes that it will help someone else.
Yeah.
And that's more of a reflection that it is, what would I say to myself 5 years ago? And so I thank you. I thank Mary Stuckey. I think so many of my friends that, in full circle knew what I was going through. Just saying her name out loud. Bridget, my dear friend, has known what I've gone through and guided me to the top of a mountain 3 days ago and knew how huge the mountain has been. and, acknowledged it when we were at the bottom. My friend Libby, who, when I could put my feet on the floor, walked with me. My sister Melissa, who has carried me.
Yeah.
There's so many people. We're not so many people. There are so many people in my close circle that have truly carried me. My husband, my kids, my source of joy, my 3 children. Like I'm just, life has always been abundant, but it has been very hard the last 7 years. So my deep reflection is just like immense gratitude for all of it. Every little angel, even sitting here in this opportunity to like speak this out loud, I'm just so grateful for it.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
Gratitude.
It really is, Mark. Like this has been a gift.
Well,
I'm very emotional.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the last 3 days of that hike,
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired.
I was thinking just more, it's very momentous.
Yes.
That's incredibly momentous. So
all of it is, and it's not, I don't know if I shared this with you in the beginning, but I had a very delightful conversation with one of my closest and dearest friends. For 40 years, she's been one of my closest friends. And when I was really sick, and she's been sick on and off, she said, this is the cross that I bear, this illness that she carries. And that gave me it gave me meaning and hope that what I've been carrying, this cross that I bear, is actually no different than any cross anybody else bears. We all have one. That cross is very heavy at times, and it can become lighter, which that's where I'm feeling right now. But it has purpose, it has meaning. Hopefully it can help someone else. And I'm oddly really thankful for all of it. I'm thankful for the suffering. I'm thankful that I had a hard cross to bear, and that I might have others. It's a part of this journey.
Yeah. I'm in awe.
Yeah.
I'm always in awe, and because I don't know that I have that mental fortitude and grit that you have. So I'm always inspired by folks who can own and express and exude that grit and be so yet appreciative, thankful, and be able to see things in that light with gratitude. So thanks for inspiring me. Thanks for I know without a doubt the influence and impact that you're having on people locally and otherwise, with even just with how you've carried yourself for the last 7 years, and then now in that context when more people are becoming and will better understand what you've gone through. That's huge. That's a gift that you've given to humanity, for those who are open, as you say.
Thank you. I was born with deep empathy. I feel everything so deeply. It's both a blessing and a curse. So a lot of people, say, my empathy has always run deep. When you go through suffering of any sort, loss of a loved one, grief, journeys, like these things, nobody's immune to.
Yeah.
And the suffering that I've gone through has given me even deeper empathy than I've ever had, and I'm thankful for that. I think with suffering comes enlightenment. And that's my goal in life, is just to constantly be broken wide open, be learning, be enlightened, be a light for others. It's something that I know I was born with. I'm done denying it.
Yeah.
Or being ashamed of it. People don't understand it. Everybody carries a light.
Thanks for being you.
Yeah. I got it. You got
That's
it.
good.
We all got it. It's just, we got to lean into the light.
There's some exciting things ahead for you personally, and for your place in this life, in this world, and in humanity and in service. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how you fulfill that calling and mission in your life. I'm really excited to see what comes forth for you.
Thank you.
And for others because of you.
Thank you.
So yeah, just honoring you in this moment. And hey, this is bringing all of a sudden full circle that mountain hike. It's just bringing that even more into picture for me, visually and emotionally. So congratulations. I celebrate with you.
Thank you. I shared this at the beginning of our chat, but I've been wanting to share my story, this very personal story of suffering, for a while now. And I've teetered. There's been a few people that have approached me and wanted wanted me to share and given me the opportunity, and it has not felt right.
Mm.
And, 6 months ago when we connected after years of living in the same city and me being a patient at your practice, it is this full circle thing that the timing of us being connected and it never felt more right. And I did feel God in certain situations saying, now's the time. And so I thank you for doing what you do and for giving me this safe place of support, comfort, affirmation. I thank you for providing this for me because it's part of, my healing
Yeah.
is to speak it out loud. And so thank you
Thank you
for
too.
giving me this gift.
Absolutely. My pleasure. More than pleasure. No. All right. I think it's a good stopping point. Yeah. So as always, rootseekhealth.com is how you can find us. If you have never delved into the functional medicine world and you're interested in exploring, our team would love to be available to you and walk that journey with you anew, second opinion, or revisiting where you last left off. Thanks to Mary Jo for this has been a 3-part series, if you will, or chapters, descriptions of a 3-part series of your different portions of your chapters in your journey. That was very wordy, but it's a good place to be, and I think we have some additional interesting roads to explore because life does move on, and it's not all peaches and roses. We are going to face. We're not going to escape this world without suffering in some way or another, mentally, emotionally, physically, etc. And health is an ongoing journey, and I'm going to take with me away today, the rest of the day. I will intentionally put it into play the rest of the week to even more express and practice gratitude for myself. So thank you for inspiring me. But as always, we're going to close today and just say our intent always with this podcast, the Functional Medicine Reality Podcast, is to help people create better clarity, bring education and awareness, but ultimately to help people create clarity with all the noise, as you referred to, as you referenced, all the noise out there, all the information, and it's just going to get more and more abundant with AI and everything in play to help create clarity, to help people more efficiently and more effectively bypass unnecessary waste of time, money, and effort, energy, and just get better faster. And I know that's your goal, to help people, connect people in some way or another, to help be a light, a voice. And we're happy to play that role also in as a healthcare provider resource for folks. So if the shoe fits, you know how to reach us. Otherwise, we'll check you next time as we move forward in a couple newer directions, kind of pivoting less up on you and yourself as you've
Alluded to.
You've wanted to be more of service and connecting with others. So we're going to move in those directions going forward, and I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
All right.
So fresh, just the way you like it.